Good day viewers. Today we have with us Dr. Sukant Kumar Mahapatra, Honorable Chairman, National Institute of Science and Technology, Berhampur, Odisha. He is going to share his thoughts and views on privatized higher education in nation building. Dr. Mahapatra did his PhD from Stephen University, USA. He MS from University of Louisiana. He completed Bachelor in Mechanical Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Rourkela. He has 30 years of professional experience in various leading positions. He is the founder chairman of SM Charitable Education Trust that promotes National Institute of Science and Technology. He has significant contribution in research, making strategies, business development and development of various technologies. His research interest includes 5D technology, Internet of Things, cloud computing, computer visions and many other fields. He has delivered speeches on various forums in the field of his interest, and obviously he is the recipient of various awards in different forum. So, with this brief introduction, I welcome sir for today's session. We are really honored and privileged to have you with us today. As we are going to discuss today on the importance of technology in nation building, so first of all, please share your views on where does our nation stand in terms of business, international business, and what will be the role of technology if India itself want to assert as a global leader.
Education plays a very fundamental role for the growth of any countries, and particularly education, not just academic side, but also with research and innovation. Many of the countries in the world who are like a superpower and done very well economically and otherwise, the education is the foundational block which built the citizen for tomorrow. But also it's not just academic side. The fundamental research is a very core part of it. It created creative mind. So the best way to develop the country economically and otherwise, to have an education system with a research, strong focus on research and innovation, and teaching people with ethics, value. Those are very fundamental to build young citizens, young people, which is key to growth and future of the country. And if India has to really progress, done a lot of progress since independence, but I think the focus on education, research, innovation, building people with a strong ethical value, that will be key to success of our country.
Sir, you are highly acclaimed C-level technocrat. You have sailed in a vast sea of technology. You have developed various strategies and different technologies that world use today. So, standing in such a commanding position, what is your thought on educational infrastructure India really needs, so that in future India itself can develop world-class technologies?
Technology will play a very, very vital role and fundamental role in educational development of the country and the world all over the places. For example, the typical classroom teaching might not exist over some period of time. So the technology like AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality will fundamentally change the current educational system. And the way technology will help, everybody can kind of have a learning anywhere, anytime, any place in the world. Similarly, teacher can be anywhere in the world and teach different courses. And using those technology like augmented reality, virtual reality, people will get in virtual mode hands-on experience with a laboratory, hands-on experience on conferencing, collaborating, and also the teaching. And that technology will make a lot of difference with the educational system down the road using all advanced technology. And similarly, like computer vision, AI and machine learning will help a lot in the educational development. Many of the particularly in the life science, the technology and all those things fundamentally will change with innovation. I'll give you one example. For example, we don't have enough doctors and psychologists, and using robotics, using AI, machine learning, it could be a virtual psychologist for the people to treat the people with kind of a different kind of mental issue, healthcare issue, those could be treated. So technology will play not only education, in the healthcare, manufacturing, education, in a fundamentally larger way, particularly using the technology such as AR, VR, technology, the AI and machine learning, the computer vision, those kind of applications play a significant role.
A very important decision in student life is choosing a right career track. If we take example of your career, you are a CTO of a global ICT company. You have done PhD and MS in computer science, but your bachelor is in mechanical engineering. Now you have your working and interest in Internet of Things, power electronics. So really interesting, diverse educational credentials you have. So standing in such a position, sir, it will be very important for future student if you share your opinion on so-called right career track.
So far the education is concerned, I believe the best way to pursue your passion. It's not about what you study, what is your undergraduate, what is your graduate, PhD. The best way people can excel, you follow your passion, whatever is your interest, right? So I know a lot of people who have done, like for my wife has a economics background, she went to computer science. So that should not be any bar going from one area of expertise to other area of expertise. But when you follow your passion, which is a very natural instinct, you'll excel. So you'll excel, you follow your passion. But you are forced to do in a certain path, you'll do well, but you'll not excel. So many of these Nobel laureate and all what you see, they have followed their passion. That's why they excel. So what I have done in my career, basically I follow the passion where I think I can contribute more, and I excel typically in those kind of things if you follow your passion. So given the policy what is coming now, the educational policy in this country, it encourages people to follow passion rather than very segregated way. Or if you are a mechanical engineer, you can do masters in mechanical, you can do PhD in mechanical. That kind of barrier is breaking. So people from Sanskrit can do engineering, they can study philosophy, they can do medicine. There should not be any bar, because it's the passion of the people which help people to excel in their thought process, the education, the research, those kind of things. So we should follow passion, not to be siloed based on what you do undergraduate, graduate, or PhD.
Okay. Sir, all of you near and dear one know that in addition means you have established not only National Institute of Science and Technology, but you are also a promoter of a mantra that is students first. So what does actually it means? How a student institute can become a student friendly?
So my philosophy on student first, because of one reason. If you look into this institute, it is for whom? Who are the primary customer? Who are the primary beneficiary of an educational institute? It's student. So because of the student, institute exists. The student first, when I mean, we should put as an institute, as a management, as a faculty, and all the people should ensure the highest academic achievement those students should get. Number one. Number two, they should have a creative mind. It's not just a kind of remembering something, giving exam, passing exam. They should train their mind. It's very important. They should have a training of the mind so they can follow different things after even the graduation. They don't have to follow things what they learn in the study, but their mind should be creative enough to find different way to think, different way to do innovation. So second part is we want to create a creative mind in addition to academic excellence. Third and most important thing, it's not about certificate, it's not about education, how you become a good human being. The holistic development with respect to as a human being, as a integrity, honesty, team spirit, those are very important part for student. So when you say student first, we have to ensure we have a responsibility to make sure they excel academically, they create a creative mind, do research, and they should become good human being, which contributing positively to the society, to their family, to themselves, and country, and the world as whole. That's what is student mantra, student first means for us.
Coming to a little bit different question, what was your motivation to establish such an educational research institute like National Institute of Science and Technology?
So I was, very good question. So I was like in my 30s, and I was thinking to do something because I graduated here, I spent a lot of time here. So in mid 30s, though I was in the US, I was looking to do something in the state. And one of those, like my professional background from engineering, and I'd gone to research, and my passion was academics. I was also teaching at Rutgers University in US in addition to my work activities, and I believe through education you can do fundamental changes in society and nation. And my thought was to build NIST as a center of academic excellence and research at par with international universities in the world. So if you look into top 200 universities in the world, when I started NIST, India was nowhere there. And I thought in my lifetime, I can build NIST as par with international standard and in top 200 in the world. That was my dream. That was my passion. That was my motivation. And we can build it. We can build it. I'm sure we can build it because of two reasons. If you look into top 10 universities in the world, it is all in private sector. You name MIT, Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, it's all in private sector. And in the private sector, you can build world-class, top-notch university. And that was my dream and motivation to start NIST.
In Odisha, different cities are there. Your education is from Raulkela, but you have established your dream institute in Berhampur. Sir, please share why you have chosen Berhampur.
Very interesting question and very good question. Actually, the government at that time had gone for foreign direct investment in the state, and I had a meeting with the state government authorities. And actually, I am from Cuttack. My hometown is Cuttack. They're coming to Berhampur. That many people actually kind of motivate me to come to Berhampur, southern Odisha. And I have also my thought. Number one, Gopalpur Steel project was coming. And there's a lot of people, technical manpower was needed for that. And at that time, the Vice Chancellor of Berhampur University was Professor M.Q. Khan. He was my teacher in ISU. So he was very motivating, do something in Odisha and Southern Odisha in Berhampur University. And Berhampur Southern Odisha did not have an engineering college after long years. And I thought if we can do in Southern Odisha, it will give a kind of a engineering institution in Southern Odisha will be much better, and the distribution of the academic things will be there. But most importantly, I thought if we start something new, we can bring the best and the brightest kind of a course curriculum, staff, faculty, and that way you don't have to depend upon any legacy. Basically, you can do something new. So what I did, I was teaching in Rutgers. I have a lot of friends in academics in US. So I took their help. And for example, people in Columbia University, people in Texas A&M, they helped a lot to build the course curriculum, which would have been impossible to follow in other universities, because we build actually course curriculum for engineering in Berhampur University. So we can start from scratch. So we could do the best possible way. And many of the things we follow the US model and standard. That's how we could build the best course curriculum under Berhampur University, even if it was starting new. So there's a lot of factors playing into role to start the institute in Odisha, particularly southern Odisha, and develop a world-class university. That was the passion, that was the logic behind it.
Sir, can you please share your views? What is the long-term goal of and vision of NIST?
Long-term goal is first, number one, will become a university. Number two, our objective is not academic. Our objective is research, right? It should be a research university. But the most important part is not limited to theoretical research. We'll take those research and build companies out of it here. So our long-term goal, this should become a hub, technology hub, or create a technology hub in southern Odisha, maybe other part of the country. So based on the academic excellence, based on the research and innovation, and taking those research and innovation to the product realization, building the solution which will solve the real and practical problem, and build companies out of it. So that's what the NIST will become, and NIST will become one of the global eminence, where we are not limited to academic, not limited to research, building the solution to solve the challenges of today and tomorrow through development, product realization, and developing really niche innovation in different areas. And it could be engineering, it could be management, it could be science, it could be medical science, in all different areas. That's what our dream is. And it should be a pre-eminence institute globally as a research-based institute developing real solution to meet the need of and challenges, global challenges of tomorrow.
Okay, then what would be the short-term goal of NIST?
So that two part. One is they called strategic and tactical. Tactical, we have a lot of things. We have a miles to go. We have done a lot of good things, and particularly appreciate all the good stuff our faculty and staff and students have achieved. Phenomenal what they have done. Whether it's the research, academic activity, the placement of our student is very high, like 80 to 87% student. So I appreciate, I thank you, all my students, faculty and teacher for extraordinary contribution and achievement for which we rank very highly in the country. Whether it's NRF, whether Times ranking, DataQuest, Outlook, we rank very high. So I really appreciate from core of my heart the brilliant work, tremendous perseverance, and good work has done by the student, faculty, of staff of this institute. But we have done great, but we need to do greater. We need to do greater. So we want to, what we have achieved, we need to go forward, make things better. For example, right now we have a patent, about 7 patents last year, but we want to have a 20% patent per year. For example, we want to hit at least 95% student graduate with 7.5 or more GPA. We need to make sure our research grant increase by double every year, year by year. We want to make sure our research publication increase at least by 20%. We want to make sure our students have much more publication in the research. So these are kind of a short-term goal. We want to make sure 95% of our faculty have PhDs. So these are our short-term goals. We want to make sure we go higher with a steady progress. But the long term, strategically, we want to build a world-class research university in the global ranking within top 200 in the world. That's what we want to do.
Sir, where do you position NIST in terms of institutes of national importance?
Yes. So the thing is, if you know, our institute is recognized pretty well in all India basis. Not as like regional, not like Odisha. In all India basis, we are recognized very high. In 2016, we have a NRF rank of 16. And this year, actually, in the Times ranking, we got 98th rank. So that's pretty high. Even our management school by business standard was ranked 119th in the country. So that's pretty good ranking. But what we want to do, the eminence, not only national eminence, we want to have a global eminence. Global ranking by global ranking companies and all, we should become global eminence in education, research, innovation, and building the companies out of it. So we need to achieve that. It's a long way to go, but we'll go in a steady progress to achieve that fundamental goal of becoming the global eminence in academic, research, and innovation, building companies out of here. That's what it is.
Okay. Sir, one thing that all the NITs and IITs, it is really to be concerned that all the fees are really increasing in last decade. How means in institute like this NIST will survive without charging hefty amounts from the students, and what will be the model? Just you suggest, or have you already worked out about this?
Couple of things. Student fees is just a one parameter. It's not all parameter. Unfortunately, many of the institutes depend upon student fees for the financial kind of stability of the institute, growth of the institute. And from the student fees point of view, if we do premium service and charge premium, no problem with that. But we have to give the value for the money. It's called bang for the buck. So the people should have, the students who are coming to study here, they should get enough value of the investment they are doing. And we can charge premium things, but we have to give that premium to the student. Number two, that's just one part of it. Number two, there's a lot of opportunity to get a lot of money through research. We should have a lot of money generation for research grant, innovation, developing product. We should not be depending upon student fees alone. We should get a lot of research grant. That would be another source of income. The third source of income would be many of the faculty and staff would be involved with consulting services, providing new courses, new things, and that could bring additional revenue for institute. Institute alumni, you'll be very surprised. The Princeton University alumni, they contribute over $9 billion, right? So our alumni could be, all the alumni have done tremendously well in different areas, and we should include our alumni to contribute not just money in different resource, giving a talk, becoming involved in the research things, funding some research capability. They could be another source of helping our institute, and our 15,000 alumni doing pretty well, and they could be part of the growth of the institute. So student fee should not be only criteria for the revenue of the institute. Student fee is just one part of the things. We should go heavily on our research, do research money, research grant very strongly. We build company, we develop company, build commercial product, develop a lot of revenue from that, and also leverage our alumni and the connection and all to help. It's not just money. They can help in different resource, different lab infrastructure, different lab facility. So we can do in a many different ways. For example, some of the alumni of IIT, they built the management school in their name. They funded that infrastructure. It's not about money. They build one things. So we can do those kind of things. So we should not be dependent upon student fee alone. Number two, student fee we deliver the good quality education, placement, job, higher education, and the value for money should be there. It's not about how much comparison, how we can give best to the student based on the money they spend or based on the investment the parent do for the children. But student fee is just one of the parameters among many other things where you can generate revenue for institute and grow the.
How do you define future role of NIST in nation building?
Multiple ways. So if you look into first the student, what we generate, the future generation. It's not the student, we generate future generation. So the way that student first philosophy is there, instill academic excellence, create creative mind, and build human soul. And that will be fundamental to bring the future generation for the country. And once these people go with this kind of background, with high knowledge, excellence in academics, excellence in innovation and innovative mind, with a good character, good ethics, good value, they ultimately build a good nation. They will ultimately help themselves, their family, their community, and build good nation. In addition to that, what we do at the institute, and not only involved for the institute only, we would take care of our community, our district or state, and our student, our faculty are involved in many activities on the social service front. Take care of the school, go for the Gopalpur beach cleaning, give the blood, all those kind of things our student and faculty are doing. So they are contributing itself right now for the world, for the nation. right? But with all the things, the way we are growing our student, they will definitely become the best citizen of the country and help grow this country moving forward.
Why a student, even a faculty, will come to NIST? Better to ask that why NIST?
Many things, many value. Why NIST? Question is why NIST?
Yeah.
There is hundred and thousands of institutes. Why NIST? Number one, we provide a diverse course program in the science, engineering, management, offering undergraduate, graduate, and PhD program. Very diverse course curriculum. Number two, we are not an academic institute. We are a research institute. So we encourage people to do research, write papers, do patent, those kind of things, including students. Students have to do those kind of things. Number three, we don't just give students a certificate or diploma. We build good human soul, right? We want to ensure they get a job before they graduate. We want to ensure if they're interested in higher study, they can go for higher study. For last year, 14 students went for Australia, Japan, Switzerland, Taiwan, South Korea, US. So we encourage them for higher study. Number three, they become entrepreneur. We encourage them to become entrepreneur. They can provide job rather than seeking job. So we really try to help students before graduating out. They can follow their passion, what they want to do. Number three. Number four, most important part is we provide the ecosystem and environment in our Loss Green campus to everybody follow their own passion. Somebody interested, people are studying engineering, people are doing science, people are doing management, but somebody is very interested to do astronomy, people want to do artificial intelligence, people want to do robotics, people want to do drama, people want to do music. We have about more than 13 clubs. We provide opportunity for everybody so that they grow their passion, and the growth will happen. The people will excel if they follow their passions, right? And another thing is we have the best and the brightest faculties among the state and country. Lot of our faculty are Boyka scholar with a lot of postdoc opportunity. I believe about 90% of faculty are PhD. We are an educational hub with the best and brightest mind of the country. And that's one source of kind of encouragement for everybody. And we build human being with a good value, good moral value, and the bang for the buck. You talked about the money and fees. We definitely provide much more benefit than what the fees charged to the student. And that's the attraction why somebody should consider NIST beyond many other institutes.
This was Dr. Sukant Kishore Mahapatra sharing his opinion in open conversation on role of privatized higher education in nation building. On our request, he shared his perspective, and here is his some of his takeaways. Technology is a key way to the nation where the nation thrives, lives, and prospers. Decades ago, we imported every singular technology related things. We needed human resources, technology know-how to create disruptive technologies for domestic and domestic use and export. To address these particular challenges, NIST establishes in 1996 on the invitation from the government of Odisha. For us to be innovative and enterprising, we must value ethics and creativity. Not only we value, but rather make them a way of life. NIST has been focusing on interdisciplinary studies since its inception. Now, Government of India is also aligning itself in a similar direction. We take it as an endorsement. The outcome of higher education should not just be a placement in an IT company. Rather, it should be holistic, such that the student is empowered and decide reasonably whether to take up a job, further his studies, be a researcher, or explores the vast expanse of entrepreneurship or to be a job creator. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts and views with us. And thank you very much for giving us your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.